Welcome to Justice Now, and this is for the series on Tips for Black Workers, Part 4. It will be entitled, Your Job Description and Your Job Title will be, how could I say? It will be questioned. Regardless if you're in an entry-level position, if you are in a management position, your position, your job title that you've been assigned, that you've applied to, and that you have gone through the interview and been hired for will be questioned. What do I mean by this? Well, I work in the social service industry, and there's been many situations, many examples I can give where I've been questioned as to whether or not I in fact hold the position that I've applied for and gotten hired for. So here are some examples. I was working as one of the assistants for one of the children at a school. And on my second day, I had staff who were part of the school who I hadn't seen on my first day asking, am I to be in that school? Now, typically, when someone is assigned on contract to go into a particular venue, be it a school, group home, office, facility, the staff of the company who's hired out the contract will notify their employees via email, which is a quickest form of communication. However, what happens is for some staff, they feel they need to take it a step further. Are you supposed to be here? Who are you? Why are you here? And on the surface, it seems quite reasonable. On the surface, it seems, they want to ensure that safety for all. However, here's the additional information that I'm about to share. It was during a time when there was elections in Ontario. And when elections occur, sometimes the government places certain venues, such as schools, community centers, as designated areas for people to vote, for citizens to vote. So on that same day that I was being asked as to whether I should be there, which I'm supposed to be because I'm contracted to assist one of the students, there were a couple of voters that were able to walk through the school with no questions from these same staff. Here's another example. I was assisting an adult in trying to secure housing. In order to do so, I needed to gather information such as applications, areas where they can apply towards subsidized housing in order to get them started on their way. Now, the adult individual that I was working with was not with me. I was by myself to get this information. And I was told by the receptionist that I needed to wait until one of the staff comes to provide me that information. So I'm sitting in the waiting area, and I'm dressed in professional attire, and I'm sitting waiting patiently. There was another individual that came in who was dressed in a jogging pants and a sweatshirt. The staff came out into the lobby, looked at me, and looked at the person that was dressed in jogging pants and a sweatshirt, and went to the person who was in the jogging pants and the sweatshirt, asking if they were, and they said my name. And I just waited quietly, and I smiled to myself because I knew exactly what this was. The individual, of course, said no, and then they turned to me. Now, I'm sure that if I was another complexion, this would not have occurred. I've seen it many times where it has not occurred. So, just want to give you information that regardless of how you dress, even if you're in professional attire, you will be questioned. Your title will be questioned. And these are just some of the subtle ways of how racism works. Keep in mind that racism is based on ostracism, and that ostracism results in not being able to access resources or making it much more difficult to access resources. In those situations, keep your composure, carry on with your intent, which is to either provide a service or get the information needed, as much as information as you would be given, because oftentimes you're not given full information. And make sure that you jot it down in your workplace journal so that you have a record. If it's not a record to provide as part of, what's happening in terms of harassment, or if it's not to provide in terms of where something can be done about it, then at least it's something to review to yourself as to the expectations, and to try not to be blindsided by it. Recognize that this is the nature of how it works. And then from there, work on ways of how to counter it. I hope this was constructive to you, and stay tuned for more videos.